This essay explores William Faulkner's fiction. How do we say, like, the fiction of William Faulkner, as well as his the fiction this essay explores William Faulkner's fiction and its corresponding scholarship or something. How do we say it? Okay. This essay explores the fiction of William Faulkner, specifically attending to such topics as the limits of contingency, with respect to the author or something like that, slash fiction slash narrative violence or whatever. No. Okay. This essay explores Faulkner's fiction, focusing on scholarly arguments. Oh my gosh, what is this? No. Okay. I don't know what happened there. This app gave me a pop-up. I think it's all okay. This essay explores the fiction of William Faulkner, attending first to this is, I guess, recording the theory, take two, and but the first real take. The previous one is just the test take. Doing a voice memo thing to verbalize thoughts on Dr. Larry paper before, or like get that thinking started, moving. So that after lunch, like his fiction broad, can come back and actually start getting things put down on paper. This essay explores William Faulkner's. This paper is about fiction and Faulkner's fiction capacity as an author, in a certain kind of way. Author. Like, I think in the end, what I want to say with respect, throw away your books, rally on the square, rally in the streets, or whatever, or like attending to, or is about Faulkner's fiction, like the limits of Faulkner as an anti-racist author, contingency, anti-racism. At the beginning, I'm more interested in fiction, that I'm looking at Faulkner getting in there that by chance. We're looking at. I'm doing that, I think, mainly with funny games. Patricia Taxxon's article, the arguments of like scholarship, has some useful things for reading. So like Sound of the Fury, along funny games, fiction. Question for me is like what my argument is. Scholarship that surrounds Faulkner's fiction, and the scholarship that surrounds it. Because my argument is about like fiction as form. And Patricia is suggesting that Sound of the Fury is emblematic as a modernist author. Is like itself aware of fiction's capabilities and is engaging in a certain kind of conversation throughout the text. If you get like the structuring of the chapters of the brothers, right? That label is like, okay. This essay explores, and so this essay explores or examines or whatever. I think William Faulkner's fiction, going through Pardis's argument, I'm not really interested in attending necessarily to the Sound of the Fury. I can be, I think, and the scholarship that surrounds it. What she's saying about, or the scholarship that surrounds it, or the scholarly attention that the cinema spectator, or whatever, want for narrative. It's nice, and so I'm sitting outside. As well as useful, weather permitting. Her point about like this tension between contingency capacities and narrative, or capabilities. Right now. I don't care about the historical part of it, but like affecting that there is this contention, change or whatever. Of Faulkner's. I want to talk more about arrives at this sort of attending this standpoint that Benji, I think Pardis's argument of a kind about contingency period, or the violence of narrative. She talks about it as like filmic recovery. And the quote that she's pulling from that one guy, I don't know. And that, I think that's where continuing funny narrative. I think it'd be helpful to include is just like a my disagreement. This is what her argument we're talking about type dealio. And it's not really a disagreement with the text. Like I think modernism taking up the limitations. That's what Funny Games is about in large part. Because if this is what Funny Games is doing, truly, I will explore. Interested. I will examine contingency. First is also expanding fiction. Focus as a form for the conversation or whatever. From just being about narrative, which is has been constructed by a person. Devashi frames it to being about like narrative and author, the point of like not only narrative but also author is the considerations of article. It's not even like violence. Well, it's not necessarily just violence, but it's like funny not so much. These well, it is violence, but I think the narrative and the author are when at the start of it seems like violence is getting this. But that could be wrong. I don't know. The novel begins with this moment of change. Like, Lester loses this quarter, in this hole in his pocket. Like, what would have happened if he had lost this quarter? I don't know that she ever goes back and interrogates this question. I'll stay sitting. I think she brings it up more as to say now. This is a section. Move on. So I think it's interested in contingency. Pardis's the novel has a kind of interesting contingency. Jason's chapter, the way that. To consider, I think the response paranoid in his narrative, and that in fact, like fiction, she arrives at in a certain kind of narrativization of the world in her engagement with Jason's chapter. How this almost figures as taking in mind Jason like looking directly at the camera, the reader. Reading Faulkner's. I think this is obviously like very useful. Lester loses this quarter when his hole in his pocket. I'm planning to like draw. It's not because like, he happened to drop it because Faulkner, William Faulkner, as the Funny Games has several moments as an author, it is directly wrote the scene. Like addressing the viewer, so it's not like a chance that the violence loses the quarter. It's like directness. Fiction, it's or configuration. And were he not to have lost, like, and I don't know what scholarship claims the violence in the quarter. It's not about the diegetic divestment from Faulkner writing a different diegesis, or is it in the addressing of the audience, or is there something else that like just happens to overlap with these things in this moment? The limits. I don't know. This is where like I got little guys driving much better. I don't remember resisting oppression, but I hope it's 100% what I was just saying. Not just resisting, but like talking about overthrowing. I think how articulating contingency here doesn't exist in the way you want to imagine it to exist in fiction could be useful. And like this is like I will suggest that. Funny Games is saying like is a like film that's how the about text is written. Faulkner. This is why we can't talk about like narrative and fiction, meaningful thing. In the role of the author, the text is not like the real world. The way that the author of thing, like parentheses as like film. Like, but the why is it that like people has this hole in his pocket? And kind of intimate. Anything happens like in the way that because like it's written that like that. And even if like anti-racism does something that's like inhumanly possible or something like that, or
not
there
just
is some
this
kind
thing
of
that's happening, but is this thing that is being
apparent
observed,
flaw in the book.
By
I think that there could be a
and Funny Games is
to
about
say
the home invasion genre,
that this
or
is
like
an error
horror
on the part of the
thing.
text.
And I guess making conclusions there where.
But like the
it's
text
saying
does not
that-
take place in the real world; it's in the fictional world, right?
Like the reason
And
that character
the
is like
rules of
living
the
or
text
dying is not
are
because like that's actually
what's written. And so,
what realistically
if Luster is
happens, or,
able
like, what
to
would happen, but because
lose
the author is making
a
it
quarter
that way
in the soul in his body
for some kind of
because
other purpose,
it's strictly because it's written that way, and he's able to.
is largely
If Luster
because
like jumped 50 feet up in the air,
of this unwritten pact with the audience that the film
just like by
suggests,
himself, even though like, humans
taking
can't do
place.
that in the world that I live,
there's
we
like a
have to
direct
accept
you
that like
in
that is the how
address.
that world of this fictional
like
text
you-
like works.
You wanted this. or like,
It doesn't.
you don't want
Faulkner
this to
doesn't
just be
begin
a
the text by
so-and-so
saying
or whatever.
this is a gravitational force, and this is the time
And
coefficient or whatever or whatever.
The
Like,
flexing
these are
of the
the
role of the
physical.
author.
Like I mean, this
is
stuff is implied,
transcribed
right?
both in those moments,
But because it's
of
work of fiction,
address to camera, where it's saying like this is
It
what
operates
you want,
in
and what
this
you don't want, and so this
sort
is
of
how the text is going to be
pre-configured way.
informed by that.
And this is where Funny Games
But then
comes in. This is
also
where Jason's
when we have
think
the
about
moment
narrative,
of,
because I think Pardis is
upset
framing this
of, like,
conversation
subversion
narrative versus contingency.
when
and I think that makes sense
Brady Corbett gets
for
killed.
what she's doing. But what I'm interested in,
When the film is rewound,
I think narrative and
like
contingency
this,
this is to underscore that dichotomy.
like you can't have
Is
another
not like the full
path
story,
because like if
or like I don't think it's doing
that wouldn't be in the
that
text,
much
right?
of. It doesn't have that much of a.
If we're like,
Faulkner's
oh,
fiction.
Sherlock Holmes like wouldn't have found that clue,
Purpose.
or,
Oh,
like,
no,
wouldn't
okay.
have done whatever.
Sorry, I hope my recording continued.
Well, that's fine theoretically, but
Yeah,
like,
I think my
the
threads
text
are
is
getting
being
a
written
little
and produced for this audience's
spare
interaction, engagement.
I'll come back next time talking
This
about
kind of thing does not. It can't exist, but in this way.
yeah, like Jason narrative and bringing Funny
And,
Games.
and that is like that's my contingency.
I started a forest fire today. All of Maine, Nova Scotia is in flame. Hey, I breathed my life into this place. You could see from 1,000 miles away. Red like the blood I shed, don't dance in the embers of my soul. I made this special one for you. Tarantulas all glisten in the twilight of the coming night so cold. I made this special one for you. Hey, will you be meeting me today? I'm lonely and I really hate to wait. Hey, I just don't know how long my head will stay. The forest is still fine, burning away. Please don't leave me hanging here. I don't know what I'd do if I wasn't touched. I'm sat here patiently for you. The stars in my head, they scream with light and energy so cold. I'm sat here patiently for you. Where will I be when all but I still feel so cold. But I still feel so cold.